Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the March 2024 Discmemberment of the Civil Gore Podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. And we may have a special guest with us. You may hear Obi in the background.
You may hear my birds. You may hear my kids. You may hear my door slamming. It's been
We don't know
chaos.
what's going on. I don't know. Tim and I picked like the worst time ever to record this,
Yes.
apparently, because like every noise is picking up. And I don't know, like we actually, in our interview that you'll hear with our next episode too, that actually, well, actually, you've probably heard it already by this point. When this releases, you will have heard the interview. And Obi was very vocal during that too, but I don't know if he got picked up on that one.
I don't know. No, I edited it today, and there was no Obi.
Tim's
tell.
good. He manages to edit well.
We did promise we were going to do this dismemberment on video, but due to the odd recording time, we just didn't have everything prepped. So I think we're going to start the video dismemberments in April, and we'll get back to that. Yeah. So you're spared one more month without having to look at our ugly mugs.
Yeah, I'll have a haircut by then too. My hair's getting a little scraggly. I mean, I shaved today in anticipation, but then forgot and why I shaved. This is an odd week with stuff. And the worst part is we were so on point to record everything on Monday. We had the interview lined up. We had that, but then Olivia got sick, and so we didn't want to push it. We wanted to give Tim not having to disappear for 2 hours. So we decided to push the dismemberment. The first 3 weeks, actually, we're splitting the dismemberment. Just to let you know, because the last week has got as many as the first 3 weeks. So we decided to split that. Crazy. Yeah, and we just didn't want to rush everything else. So we had our great interview. That which you heard yesterday with Anthony Cousins, writer and director of Frogman, and we didn't, we wanted to make sure we gave him his time, and we didn't want to rush everything that day. So that's why we're a little off. I know you're like, yeah, right. You guys never were on time. But promise, we're aiming this year. We're already breaking our resolution. Our goal is to not only be on time with our recordings, but to have some in the bank somehow, which that dream is just getting loftier and loftier. I don't know if we'll ever achieve that. That should have been one of our Ghostradamuses.
Yeah.
We would have failed miserably. Although, without saying why, and which ones, because we don't want to ruin that surprise, but Tim and I are actually, our dismemberments might be on point this year. I'm sorry, not dismemberments. Our Ghostradamuses may be on point this year. We might have a couple that are coming true, in the next couple of weeks. We'll know.
I know, it's weird. It's I would have expected at least maybe mid-year we'd be somewhere at the 50. I think we're both at 50% right already.
If
it all pans out,
if everything pans out the way we expect and what we were kind of led to believe, which I know it's a little vague. We're gonna be both at 50% before mid-year, which is impressive, I have to say. Yeah,
it either means we're very good at our predictions, or we make very safe predictions.
Yeah,
I don't know which one.
Well, this year, Cone made the joke earlier when he said about one of them, and I wanted to correct him, but I'm like, you know what, forget it. He'll see it when we get it. About one of my predictions that I kind of make each year with a little slight variation. Although this year I was correct. I altered it a little, so maybe we'll see. But either way, I think though, if somehow we hit, we must have to do something special if each of us get. I don't think we'll ever get all four, but if we did somehow get all four, we gotta do something crazy, to
buy lottery tickets or something.
Something crazy to really or make I mean, I'm not that far from Vegas or in Tahoe. I can go there and make a crazy bet on our behalf or something. We'll see.
All right, well, we have a very short first week of March. March 5th only had 2 releases, one of which is our pick of the week. So I will go over the non-pick of the week, which was... Well, actually, before we do that, Walmart has gone completely nuts with the Steelbooks.
It's they took all the steel that Best Buy stopped and bought it or something.
Yeah, Walmart is going insane with the exclusive Steelbooks. So this month, or actually this week, March 5th, we are going to have a Mayhem 4K Steelbook, a VHS triple feature, which is different from the last one I talked about. This is the 94, 99, 85 versions.
Which two of them has very big ties to Civil Gore, of course, because our good friend Emily Sweet was in 99, and our good friend Jeff Whitmire wrote the ending credit song to 85. So that's a really good set. I already had 94 and 99, so I had just ordered regularly the 85, to have the complete set of him. But I didn't think to double down just to have extra steel in my.
I think I don't personally like steelbooks because they don't fit with the other Blu-rays on my case. But there's a lot of
steelbook thing came out.
There's a lot of people that collect steelbooks. Apparently, like there's a steelbook collector because I run across it every now and again on my horror Facebook group pages. People that collect nothing but steelbooks. So.
But see, if that's your thing, and I'm not like I will borrow a phrase from not only Kim and Ket now, but I've noticed I know that our friends Spooky Chicks and Horrorflix said it too. I don't want to yuck anyone's yum here, but
yes.
Which I love that. It's just a great phrase saying. Yeah. It's so funny. I don't think I play it off well. I don't think I say it well. I don't know. But I wanted to give credit to where credit is due, where I heard it from both of them actually, Kim and Ket and Allie and Emma from Spooky Chicks. But yeah, I mean, that's fine if you want to do that. What bothered me is because I wasn't a steelbook collector, and sometimes that was the special edition Best Buy would offer, and it'd have special features. So I kind of got pushed into getting the steelbook, and it kind of gave me a little bit of steelbook animosity because I felt like I had to get them sometimes. If I would have, I'm glad I did not get into the I needed another variation of it. My collection is bad enough. I don't need to get steelbook versions of everything just because of the steelbook. So that's where, and I think Tim is the same way, which is why we kind of have this built-in animosity towards the steelbook because they don't. It's not like we have a full steelbook collection, so they do stand out funny.
They don't. But if you were I will say this: if you're not a hardcore collector that collects everything, and you just want to have a self-limiting way to collect Blu-rays, I think if you only collected steelbooks, that would be pretty cool because you don't have to worry about the non-steelbook versions. True. You can focus just on the steelbooks. Your budget is significantly diminished, and they all look good on your shelf because they all kind of match. I don't know. Do the steelbooks do the Walmart steelbooks match Best Buy steelbooks? Or
I don't think I even I don't remember the last time I was in a Walmart because there's not really one. Well, actually, that's not true. But I was in a Walmart one of those the grocery Walmarts only. It was one of those. Because there's really not one that's close to me here, where I live now out in California. So, I mean, I think that I have to kind of go out of my way to get to a Walmart. There's 10 Targets that so it's I'm going to always choose Target over Walmart anyway. So I think that's, so I don't even know. I haven't even seen a Walmart steelbook up close in God knows how many, in probably over a year or so. I don't know. But I will say this is why Tim is so good because, see, I'm old. Tim will tell you, I know I don't present it as much on the podcast, but I'm all doom and gloom all the time. And Tim is always find the positive. So see, he found a positive in my steelbook criticisms.
I've seen people's collections on the Facebook groups, and they look cool because they had all their steelbooks lined up. And if that's all you collect, I can see the appeal of that. So I don't know. For me, I'd already started collecting long before steelbooks ever were a thing. So
me too.
They were already jutting out on my shelf. So remember the big old Anchor Bay, the big tins they used to do? I still have some of those.
Yeah, I think I have the Evil Dead 2.
I've got that one. I've got Hellraiser.
Heathers, I think. Heathers, and I think I have one more.
I've got the Beyond.
Now, talk about having a steel book that does not fit anywhere.
Yeah, and those were not Blu-ray; those were DVD, and I tell you what, though, I sold those things for a pretty penny. I didn't sell all of them. I still have the Evil Dead 1 and 2. And I think I've still got Hellraiser, and I think I've still got Halloween 4 and 5. But I sold several
are the ones.
of them.
Yes, those are the ones I had. But you know what? I know my biggest gripe about them is you open them up and they're in those old school plastic CD cases. Which allows you not even to store the movie separate.
No, you had to stick that whole freaking shoebox on your shelf. Yeah, that was all. That's why I got rid of some of mine back in the day.
I don't blame you. I mean, I kept them because I mean, you know me. I can't. It's for me to ever get rid of anything is like it's like a traumatizing situation after the next. But it's funny. I saw a video. I think did I share it with you guys about? Yeah, no, I did. I think I shared it in the chat where the guy's like sitting there saying, "This is why I collect physical media because they can't take it away from you." And it's and he was showing his 28 Days Later, I guess.
Yeah, I've got that
DVD
on Blu-ray.
That was like, and I have both of those, both on DVD. And he says they're going for like $2,000. I'm like, that is crazy. Not that I would sell it right now. I don't think.
Oh, I would sell it in a heartbeat if I could get $2,000 for it.
Well, the Blu-ray I wouldn't sell. I'd sell the DVD if that's what it's. If that's actually going for $2,000. But you know what? What'd you say?
I'll sell it for $500.
Oh,
I will cut you the deal of a lifetime. If you want to buy my 28 Days Later Blu-ray, I'll sell it for $100. There you go, $100. Anybody wants it.
Well, that's the thing, too. All these things, you hear these things. Oh, it went for this. Take every one of those. As someone who's been in the collecting game for years between action figures and Blu-rays and all different kind of things I collect, when you hear that statement, well, selling for $2,000, take every cent with a grain of every second of that statement with a grain of salt because that's because one person was crazy enough to pay it. Because I know there was someone I saw something like that. I found like a whole box of Disney videos here when we moved. I was helping my in-laws, and we found like a box of those old school Disney videotapes. Remember those with the big clamshells?
Yeah.
And
I've still got some of those too.
Yeah, and everyone online, I would always see like, oh, these are so valuable. Oh my God, look what I just picked up today. And it gives this illusion that they're really expensive. So I go on eBay, right? And I see them sold for like $10, $20.
Oh yeah.
And people are saying, oh, these are worth hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, who paid that? I don't know. Or maybe there's like a slight variation. You also have to look at the versions because sometimes they'll look identical to like the original release versus a re-release, and there's a slight difference on it. Like, do you remember, Tim? You'll probably remember this because you're a comic collector. Did you collect Marvel comics when you were a kid, like the old Marvels?
I had some. I didn't collect them as a kid because I was more of a DC person. But
okay.
But
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day when, like in the 80s, when I was a big Marvel comic collector. Like Spider-Man was my big one. I would get G.I. Joe, Incredible Hulk was a big one. But anyway, so when they first would release, like the first couple of weeks, they would have the Spider-Man face. Like in a little rectangle where the price was.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then the second release would have just like a UPC barcode in its place. So like, and those, like, that would value the comic at a substantial difference.
Yeah.
And so I would always rush to the store to get that Spider-Man version. And I remember I was so upset because I had I think it was G.I. Joe where I had this whole series and something happened. Either I got sick, I couldn't get to the store, and I had to get like the barcode version of a G.I. Joe, and I was so angry. It was like, my whole collection's ruined. And I literally was like looking to see if I could get it cheap, like a discount. It was already like 5 times the value of I'm like, this is crazy. But that's what I mean. So take all those things with a grain of salt, it's selling for.
I mean, I'm looking on eBay right now, and I'm looking at sold. Now, some of them have sold for like $60, which is really high for a used Blu-ray. But most of them, I would say, go anywhere between 25 and 45. So that's what you're really going to expect for this one. And that's because it's hot right now and everybody knows about it. I bet you give it a couple months and everybody will forget about this one being out of print.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Is when they say that those devil words, out of print, and like, it also depends on the movie and demand. Like that's a popular, those are popular horror movies. But like the Kevin Smith ones, I think was Dogma that everyone's going crazy to try and find. Yeah. Because it went out of print. And, it's a licensing issue. It's there's lots of reasons why. But that is always the reason why, I like to buy the physical media right when it comes out. And, and especially if I see that limited edition, I think it's so appealing to me because I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of these days where I'm going to want it and I don't have it and I can't get it. And it's just going to frustrate me. And it's like, I'd rather just buy it now at the normal price than like I know this is terrible. It's such a first world problem, but it's like, and I don't want that hole in my collection of like Kevin Smith movies because I didn't buy like Dogma when it first came out. You know, like I'm saying,
Yeah.
So it's like
the joys of being a collector.
It
we also had so in addition to VHS and Mayhem, we had Shivers Steelbook, just kind of a weird one to put out. Prisoners of the Ghostland Steelbook, Children of the Corn remake Steelbook. Well, that was the 2020 version, which kind of I think didn't release until like last year. But so kind of some weird choices. But if you're a Steelbook person, and then the Saw 10 film collection. You knew that was coming with Saw X coming out. You knew that was coming.
I'm not going to keep buying it because Saw 11's coming out, and I already have the other edition, and I had to add Spiral in it. I can't until I know till you know what, when Tobin Bell like no longer does the Saw movies and they really kind of like, like the franchise is like going to be over.
Yeah.
At least in this form. That's when I will buy the next set of Saw movies.
All right, so to get to our releases this week, we had finally we had from Oscilloscope Pictures. We had Moon Garden from 2022. A comatose 5-year-old girl journeys through an industrial wonderland to find her way back to consciousness. Looks really cool. Looks like a kind of a fantasy horror.
It's currently on Shudder, by the way.
Oh,
it's
good.
already on Shudder. I almost watched it yesterday. But then I decided I was like too tired. I'm like, that's a movie I think is going to take a lot of energy out of you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I didn't want to watch it. It kind of reminds me almost like a horror fantasy version of what's that Robin Williams one?
Oh, like what dreams may come. Yeah.
Yes, we're dreaming. Doesn't that get that vibe?
It does,
kinda?
yeah.
And I saw it described as like very Mirror Mask-esque, which I love Mirror Mask.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, you know what? I got to see this movie. I'm not going to watch this when I'm tired because I think this deserves like full attention. Maybe I was thinking maybe tonight it'd be my movie to watch. So.
This one has behind the scenes, Every Dream is a Child with Teeth, short film, deleted scenes, and theatrical trailer. So that was it for that. And then Brian will take away our pick of the week.
Yeah, and by the way, everyone go do yourself a favor and watch the trailer to Moon Garden. It looks like it's going to be like a emotional tug too.
Yes, yeah.
It looks like really cool though. Next one is this is one which actually we did we get the trailer for, the screener for this? We're awaiting the screener for this, I think. Right?
I can't remember if we have it already or we're awaiting it, but we're in contact with the PR.
Yes. I think we're going to get this because I can't wait to see this one. Like Tim said, this is a good director, and that is Lord of Misrule from Magnolia Pictures, 2023. It's a desperate search for the young daughter of the town's new minister. And of course, one of Tim's favorite actors. I'm going to butcher his name. I always want to call him Emerson, but it's not, right?
It's Innocent.
Yes. Yeah. I want to say Ralph Emerson. I don't.
Ralph Waldo Emerson, yes.
Yeah, I know. I think that's why. But it's Innocent, yes.
Yeah.
And he's in it. And of course, he was big in The Witch. And that voice of his, oh my God, like makes every movie like extra. Like,
he does a lot of voice
listen
acting.
to his movies and probably be satisfied.
Yeah, and this was directed by William Brett Bell, who did Orphan First Kill, which is one of my favorites.
Loved,
he did
yeah.
The Boy and The Boy 2. So those were. So I'm a big fan of this director.
Yeah. He's actually, and it's funny, he doesn't really get spoken about, and I don't know why. He should be more spoken about. It's like, I mean, he's got. If you look at his resume, most of. Okay, a lot of people a lot of people love The Boy, and the Brahms, The Boy 2 was. Like, I think it was depending on who you talk to on it.
I liked that one.
I did too. I didn't think it was as good as the first, but I still thought it was good. Yeah. And of course, I'd like Orphan First Kill. That one completely surprised me. I was going into that thinking, all right, this is a money grab. This is going to be terrible. And I ended up coming out of it. Tim too. We ended up loving that one. I was like, whoa, this guy's he must know how to direct movies for Tim and I.
In terms of pure entertainment value, I think Orphan First Kill is one of my favorite movies of 2022. Just in terms of just pure, ridiculous fun.
And would you ever, like going into that, would you ever think you would be saying those words?
No. I mean, I like the first Orphan, but it wasn't like it was one of my favorite movies of all time, and I was eagerly awaiting a sequel or anything. This was just caught me completely off guard. And I think going into it with absolutely no expectations, and then seeing that they didn't care that the actress had aged, like over 10 years. I don't know. It was the most ballsy bit of filmmaking I've ever seen. I don't know. I need to talk to William Britt Bell because I want to talk about Orphan First Kill.
We do, yeah. I think if we can somehow get him on this show, I think we like this. He may never hear the end of us. I mean, we may be talking.
He'd probably say, "I really need to talk about my actual movie that I'm promoting." We're like, "Nope, we're talking about Orphan First Kill."
Yes, we're going back to Orphan First Kill. Sorry, we'll make this a two-parter, but you're coming. We're going to talk about this one. Yeah. But anyway, well, that's our pick of the week, though. Of course.
Yes.
So look at that. We didn't even see this movie, and it's getting the pick of the week because of just the director alone.
Exactly, yeah. So we only had 2 releases, Moon Garden and our pick of the week, Lord of Misrule. March 12th gets a little bit bigger.
Yes.
That goes to 9 releases. This is actually our biggest week in terms of the first 3 weeks until we get to this whole concept. I hate splitting dismemberments. I know you guys probably hate it too.
Yeah.
They're listening. But when you get above like 25 titles, it gets so hard to record because our voices get shot. And usually we're having to record this on the same night we're doing a full episode.
Yeah.
It almost becomes necessary to split them. And what I hate these companies are doing, and I see it month after month, is they're shoving all the releases to the last week of the month, knowing full well most of them are going to get delayed.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say most, but a lot of them are going to get delayed. And they don't care. They put them out there because they announce these things 6 months in advance, and they just throw them out in this last week. And they end up getting delayed, and then here me and Brian have to talk about freaking 20 movies in the last week that half of them aren't even going to hit the shelf. So.
And I would love to know why. I would love to know the strategy behind it. I mean, there's a reason, and it may be that you nailed it. Maybe you think because they know it's going to be released, so they might as well just push it as far possible as the month they want to hit.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I mean, you know what? There's only one. Well, actually, I take that back. 2 months where I accept that, and that is December because a lot of people want to actually maybe even November into December, that time more so because people are getting the Christmas thing, and of course October because you know what, horror movies, yes, I mean October should always be the biggest month of releases and as end of the month as possible. I'm okay with that for those 2 months only. Every other month, like, why March? What? I'm sorry.
So frustrating.
I get Easter's coming, but like, who like goes and puts horror movies in Easter baskets? I mean, maybe we would, but still, I would not. I would not hold it against the world if they didn't do that.
So March 12th, we had another Steelbook. This one is for Event Horizon 4K version. Our first release here, outside of our pick of the week, is from Epic Pictures, and it's called Double Blind from last year. When an experimental drug trial goes horribly wrong, the surviving test subjects must fight off sleep and each other to stay alive. I love sleep deprivation stuff. I like the stories. I like anything about that. So this one really piqued my interest.
Yeah, plus it's got the Jeff Whitmire seal of approval. He actually, not only did he push it a lot on Twitter, but he actually gave us a direct message saying, guys, if you haven't seen Double Blind, go watch it.
Ooh,
so that's
okay.
all I need to hear to know that I'm going to want to see this movie.
Yeah, definitely. No extras to report on that one. I will say this also, the extras this month were kind of weird in that several of these films didn't have any extras listed that I think should have extras. So definitely double check before you buy that. Some of these we say don't have extras. They just may have not been announced yet.
They're not really. Like, I feel like it's weird. I feel like some companies are just better at really pushing the extras, and some just want to get their movie out there, so they don't even like list it. But then they appear with extras at the end.
Yeah.
So, next one is from Full Moon, and it's one I just watched. Actually, Full Moon. I watched it for our 366 horror challenge here, and that's Amy. It's technically titled Amy the Visitor on Full Moon. Their website, and it's been on there for a while. And I've always kind of been interested in watching it. And I was like, you know what? I wanted to watch a movie for the challenge, and I was looking for something like in this perfect range. It was like an hour and 9 minutes or something. I'm like, okay, that's perfect. I can get that in. I'm not too tired. I can watch this. And it was funny. Someone else, I didn't realize one of the guys we follow on Twitter that we have, Mr. Wilson. He knows Jeff Whitmire too. We're always in the same conversations a lot of times. Lately, I'm bonding with him over Lisa Frankenstein because he loves that too. He had watched it and he gave it a rave review, and I didn't even catch it. So it's like we were telling it because Tim even said it. Jeff even said it. He goes, "Hey, you got to watch this," and he's like, "I'm way ahead of you guys. I saw it last year." So, but I watched it. It basically it's Yeah, it's called Amy on the on the Blu-ray release. They may be just dropping the subtitle for the release, but it's really Amy the Visitor, which I get why they dropped it. I don't know. The Visitor really doesn't fit well. It makes it sound like more of an alien film, and it's not. It's got basically the description is Scott Keyes is a brilliant but misanthropic computer hacker who generally prefers the company of computers to humans. And there is actually so I think that the whole thing is that they're marketing it's like the first AI generated like character or something like a villain in a movie or something. I forgot what the buzzwords was they used, but they used on it. But it actually was way more fun than it had any right to be.
like every full moon movie, apparently.
It is, yeah. That's why it's like you know what, people can say what they want about Full Moon, but I will go to my grave praising this company, Full Moon. I love everything about them because they always find a way to entertain. And you know, I don't know how many times I've said this on this show, but you know how sometimes people forget that movies were meant to entertain. And Full Moon, that is their sole goal in their things. They will make you laugh in a movie. They'll give you they're really not big on the scares. It's more fun horror, you know, and like. But this one was actually really fun, and there was it's funny because you probably heard me in yesterday's episode when I talk about the challenge watches that this made me ended up watching another movie with one of the actresses in it because there was a good actress, Faith West, that was in this one that was really good, and so I ended up watching this other movie. I think she's getting typecast into weird sci-fi horror though. But yeah, this one was actually really fun. It's very Full Moon. I think if you're a computer, it almost feels like it could have been longer because it kind of ends kind of slightly abruptly. But I think that was intentional, but in a Full Moon way, if that makes sense. But I think you should watch it, Tim. I think you'll get a kick out of it because you're a big computer guy, so you'll have fun with it. And it's like I said, it's like I don't know if I'll buy it just because it's I pay for the Full Moon service. So, you know, and it's one streaming service I could see myself renewing every year. I just have it on auto renew because I like I said, I always will find, like, when I need something to watch that's just like light, you know, kind of light mentally, you know, and not too long. Full Moon always delivers. It's like, yeah, I love them.
Next up from Grindhouse Releasing, we have Impulse from 1974. And as Brian said, this may have been on a previous Dismemberment at one point. Possibly, I don't think this particular company's release, but
I don't know. These 70s Shatners like things seem to appear on our Dismemberment. Yes. Like they come and go, and I don't know if they're ever get released.
Yeah. Yes. A paranoid leisure suit wearing con man / gigolo named Matt Stone, who could have been a film historian. You know, that sounds like a film historian.
It does, but also Matt Stone. That just like you have to have that kind of 2-syllable name for when you're wearing like a leisure suit.
He seduces lonely women, bilks them of their savings via an investment scam, then kills them. When he begins seeing an attractive widow, her daughter Tina becomes suspicious of his motives. And Tina is a screaming little kid. She screams her head off in this trailer.
As all Tinas did back in the 70s and
Tinas.
60s. Remember that? It was like, that was like why? Like, I don't know why they picked that name.
Everybody was Tina back then.
It was. Or Tiny Tina, remember from the Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Like, everything is Tina.
Yeah. Shatner's coming to GalaxyCon in May, and I'm thinking of going. There's actually a great guest list. Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss is going to be there, Brian.
Oh, my God, Tim. One of these days, I have to meet you, because we have to both meet him at the same time. I think.
We do.
I'll let it like slide if you go see him, though. But if I go to him, I'm afraid to like insult him if I say, "Oh, you don't understand why we had to meet you because we've been doing bad impressions of you for years."
I'm going to tell. I'm saying my friend Brian does an incredibly bad impression of you. Just wanted to let you know.
But technically, isn't it kind of like I basically am doing a bad impression of Daryl Hammond doing?
That's the thing. That is the thing. Most of our impressions are impressions of impressions.
Yes,
right?
and bad versions of the impressions.
Bad versions of impressions of impressions. So it's like when you Xerox a document too many times. Like
yeah, there's Civil Gore. That is Civil Gore in a nutshell. We're that second Xerox document podcast.
Second is being kind. I think it's like the 10th.
That's true. Yeah, like you can find so many other podcasts that probably are way more original than us, and we're like the 10th time you've scanned it.
This one does have some great extras though. Exclusive new 4K.
Well, in Croatia we're 131st scan.
Yes. We have an exclusive new 4K restoration of the film, a provocative,
Uh-oh.
in-depth interview with director William Grefé.
I think we know who to talk to on that
Yeah,
one. We won't say who on air, but I
Yeah.
think we might need to contact our somebody about that one.
Kingdom of the Shatner, William Shatner live.
That sounds like something we'd make up.
William Shatner live in Santa Monica, October 9th, 2022. He's like 92 and he's on the concert.
You know what? I need to buy this disc. Just for that alone, The Kingdom of the Shatner.
I'm hoping he's still alive. I mean, God bless him. I hope he's still alive by the time I get there. He's 92.
Yeah,
Wow.
but he's Shatner. I don't
He's
think
Shatner.
he really ages.
That's right.
I think they
That's
just
true.
tick off years because they don't want to know that he's not real.
Yeah.
But I think he's like a creation all on its own. I don't think he will I think he will be with us. He'll outlive us. I think.
Yeah. Additional
Shatner.
interviews with producer and makeup artist Doug Hobart of Flesh Feast, Scream Baby Scream fame, and art director Roger Carlton Sherman. Audio commentary by William Grefé. Haunting alternate French soundtrack. Hours of rare cinematic treasures from the vaults of William Grefé. Hours. Wow, okay. 2 bonus features, The Devil's Sisters and The Godmothers. Glossy illustrated booklet with liner notes by acclaimed underground filmmaker Jacques Boireau. Beautifully, not to be confused with Jacques Cousteau, who is more ocean dwelling. Beautifully embossed slipcover with new art by esteemed painter Dave LeBeau. Still galleries, trailers, and other surprises. So there you go with Impulse.
Yeah, I did the Kingdom of the Shatner though. That sounds like something like Universal Studios would make as a temporary section in Epic Universe.
Well, it reminds me of that movie Kingdom of the Spiders, but it's like little Shatners running around.
Oh, how great would that be though? Oh my God, Tim! You know what you should do? You should literally when you show up and meet him, just give him go to Burger King first, get one of those crowns, and just can you please wear this? I want a Kingdom of the Shatner picture.
Yes.
Oh my God, that is great.
There's some great guests that are going to be at that con, though. Some really good ones. And then between that and the horror con, I'm going to try to do No, I'm sorry. The Galaxy Con's in July. The horror con I'm doing is in May. So Shatner's going to be at the one in July, but I'm going to try to do Carolina Fear Fest in May. So I've got 2. I got a chance to meet a lot of good guests.
Yeah, there's one. There's one in there's a con in California that I think it's the last week of May or June or something that I want to try and get to because I've not we'll eventually tell the story. We're not going to tell it now, but we're going to tell our New Jersey Horror Con story once the con passes. I think. We'll at least get because I as much as I'd like to tell it now, I am not going to do that to diminish the con attendance.
Yeah.
But we do have a story about them. But besides that, so I'm jonesing for a con. I was so bummed. I was wanted to go to that one that the Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks were talking about, that creepy con. It was just at a bad weekend. I was doing something else, so I couldn't go to it. But that's one I'm going to earmark for next year. But I think there's the one. I think it's in Pasadena. The one I want to go to in end of May, early June, and that had some really good. Basically, had every guest that I was hoping that the other cons would get. So I may try and do that, and if I do that, of course, I will report back. It's weird though going to a con without Tim though. It's not the same.
Yeah, this one's gonna be fun because we're so I've definitely taken Anna, and we may meet we've got a couple that we're good friends with that are really big horror fans that are thinking about going with us. Beatrice Bopple's going to be there again. Let's see her again.
Tim, we know how to pronounce her name now.
I'm sorry.
It's Bupley.
Bupley.
We
I
learned
like
from
saying
her.
I know, and I like saying Bopple. Though.
I just want to take the chance because actually it's funny. I was thinking of her the other day because she posted something about I saw her appearing at a con, and I think the New Jersey Horror Con in the summer or something. But then we were Facebook friends, and she posted something interesting. And I just want to again reiterate that she's one of the sweetest people.
Oh, she's
out
awesome!
There.
Yeah,
she's one of my favorite people I've ever met at a con, and I never would have thought so. Not because of she doesn't have a huge. She's not a household name, but she is one of the nicest and people that we've encountered in our con circuit. I mean, we talked to her for a half hour.
Yeah, she was really cool.
And I don't even think we got anything. She was just
she was just chilling.
hanging out.
She was hanging out. She was really
well. She was next to Wit too. And we were kind of dealing.
We had a whole Wit thing, yeah.
Yeah, we were doing with Wit on the phone. But like she is like I will stand on this hill for always. And like anytime she is at a con, make sure you go talk to her. She has some great stories. She's got that great book she sells about her Nightmare on Elm Street time, and she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. She's so yeah.
The one big
sing the
reason,
praises of Bupley.
The one big reason I need to go to this one though is it's the last touring year of the Green Goblin head from Maximum Overdrive.
I saw a picture of it where it's like left in the woods. Is that the same one?
Yeah, the guy. So I think there was a couple of them, but this one was screen used and it was restored. And this guy takes it around on tour and stuff. And I don't know if he's selling it. I don't know what the deal is, but this is his final touring year. So this is my last chance to see the original Green Goblin head. So I've got to get to that one.
Nice. But this is like I think this is the slowest moving dismemberment for
I know.
like a short week.
My God.
We're sorry, but it's like this is exactly why when we split the dismemberments, because we know they tend to go off topic. They know they get a lot of energy. We get a lot of comedy from it. So
yeah.
Anyway, am I up now with this Massacre?
With Postal.
Right, yeah, okay. I don't even know where we are anymore. Okay, this is Massacre Video, and this is Postal from 2007. Remember that game Postal? That was fun.
Was that based? Was this the same movie? I think this was based off that video game because this
was it? No,
yeah.
I think that was it. Oh.
Yeah, because this is the Uwe Boll thing, and he did all the video. Remember, he did all the video.
Was based off that.
Yeah, he did all the video game adaptations back then.
But remember how like how controversial that game was?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like it was like you felt like dirty to own it at one point. They made you.
And it wasn't a very good game either. So
it wasn't. It was just basically you just shot everybody.
Yeah.
And nowadays I don't think that would ever fly. I don't think you'd ever get a game like out like that. But anyway, it's a religious charlatan and his mild-mannered nephew and a gang of bosomy commandos. Well, there's something that we like to see. No, face off against bosomy commandos. This doesn't sound like a weird like G.I. Joe action figure. Bosomy commando. No, face off against Osama bin Laden and the Taliban in an epic battle that will determine the fate of the world. Yeah, the movie doesn't look great, but Zach Ward, who is a follower, actually follows Civil War on Twitter, and he's great. Like, of course, Scott Farkas. I mean, he's legendary in my world.
He has yellow eyes. I swear to God, he has
yellow eyes, Tim. And he was even great in the Christmas Story sequel that they brought him back.
He was,
and of course, he's got some horror cred too. He was in Freddy vs. Jason. So, he's like, he's got some horror cred, so good for him. And he's great on social media. You should follow him. He's got some really cool stuff he posts.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has got some decent features here. Exclusive new 4K restoration from the original camera negative in 2:39:1 aspect ratio. An HDR presentation of the film approved by director Uwe Boll. Director audio commentary. Running with Scissors audio commentary. Behind the scenes. Deleted scenes. Making of features. Making of features? Wait, what? Making of features. I get it now. Okay. The way it worded it looked funny. Gag reel trailers for other Massacre Video releases and a 4K Blu-ray region-free combo pack. So that's interesting. I don't think I've quite seen that where they have the... Oh, I see. They're doing the Blu-ray is the region-free and the 4K is the combo pack. I thought they were just doing I didn't care. It was Blu-ray and then Blu-ray region-free. Okay.
Next up, we have from Massacre Video's Snuff 102 from 2007. A young reporter begins to unravel the secrets of an underground myth, snuff films. Soon she falls in a gruesome spiral of shocking images not suited for the faint-hearted. Investigation on snuff films and onto the true meaning of violence. This looks so low budget, I didn't even know what I was watching.
It looked like if you took remember our reference before? It looked like you took Skinamarink and then photocopied it 17 times.
Yes, I usually like snuff film stuff. I like the whole mythos and thing, and I like.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't even know what I was looking at. It looked like maybe it looked like almost like a music video or something. It was weird.
Yeah, supposedly it's got a ton of like horrific imagery, and I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No extras there. So.
And of course I get this one. Because this sounds like something Tim and I would make up. It's Massacre Video again. It's In Hell Productions. The films of Vince Roth and Mick Nards. Are these like porn guys?
I don't know. Maybe.
Mick Nards. I mean, come on. That's a porn guy. And nothing. No, again, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum. If that's your porn name, go right for it. That's good. I mean, it's like that's like Bob Bowles, but whatever. Anyway, from the dark corners of underground cinema, In Hell Productions collection unveils 3 tales of terror. Necro takes you into the disturbing world of a necrophile serial killer, blurring lines between reality and twisted fantasy. Six Pack, not to be confused with the Kenny Rogers vehicle.
I think the real name is Six Pack That Bitch. They just
you're right.
abbreviated it in the thing.
Oh, you're right. See, I thought it was Six Pack, and then the description was that BH turns simple. Okay. All right, so it's Six Pack That Bitch. Okay. Definitely not the Kenny Rogers vehicle then. Okay. Turns into a simple error. Cone liked that movie, by the way. Not this one, the Kenny Rogers. Anyway, Six Pack That Bitch turns a simple errand into a nightmare where ordinary meets the grotesque. Okay. Don't go into the effing woods. Transform. I think I've seen that one on Tubi.
Yeah, it is on Tubi, yeah.
Yeah, transforms a peaceful retreat into a survival against a relentless axe-wielding fiend. That one sounds kind of normal.
Yeah. Now, that one actually got some publicity.
Yeah, that one, I think. Yeah, that one got... Because it's like a slasher. Slashers always seem to kind of sneak into the world. Massacre Video proudly introduces In Hell Productions Collection, a series of the most audacious and extreme American underground films from the late 90s and early 2000s, created by the visionary duo Vince Roth and Mick Nards. This collection, now available for the first time, offers an extensive array of exclusive content featuring over an hour and a half of extras that include unprecedented behind-the-scenes footage and insights into the making of these films. Unveiled in their original raw form, these shorts capture the essence of low-budget, underground exploitation cinema, showcasing an unapologetically intense and unfiltered creative vision. Wow. That is a lot of buzzwords.
Yes. In that. That was one of those that I think feel like it has extras, but they were none listed. Like,
it's got to have extras. Yeah. I wouldn't go as far as saying it might have a film historian on it, but it's probably got some extras.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole thing is extras almost.
Probably. Next up from Shout Factory, we have an interesting one. Stephen King's The Shining. This is the miniseries from 1997. Jack Torrance and his family move into the sprawling, vacant Overlook Hotel to get away from it all, away from the alcoholism that derails Jack's writing career, away from the violent outbursts that mar Jack's past. But Jack's young son, Danny, knows better. He possesses a in the hands of Stephen. Oh man, this synopsis got totally screwed up.
Yeah.
In the hands of Stephen King, the dead Overlook comes horrifyingly alive. Phantoms lurk, the message Red Rum appears with scary frequency, and even Garden Topiary lurches into macabre existence in this atmospheric shocker, scripted by King from his own novel and directed by Ace King's screen adapter Mick Garris. And it's got all gibberish because I apparently copied the summary wrong. But I'm sorry, I didn't care for this one. I think my biggest problem was I didn't like the Jack Torrance actor of the.
See, I don't think I was. That was Steven Weber, right? I don't think I was crazy about the kid. The kid kind of bothered me. We kept going pictures in a book.
I think the whole cast just was not right, and I'm not necessarily saying it because I was expecting the Stanley Kubrick cast, but
that's a hard cast to live up to.
Yeah, it's really hard to break your mind away from that portrayal and get these. And I know it was more faithful to the book, and it had the topiary stuff that was left out of the Kubrick version. But I don't know. This one, I'd have to go back and watch it. I haven't seen it since it aired in '97, so I can't really. I hesitate to say too much about it, but I don't know. I remember not liking it at the time.
And this was like a TV.
Yeah, it was like a TV miniseries.
Yeah, and so I remember being super excited. I remember my brother Adam and I watched it, and we were so excited. And I think he had seen The Shining. I think I showed it to him or something when he was way too young, probably. But anyway, and I remember we were all excited for watching it. And we made like an event out of it. And I remember we were just like looking at each other like, oh my God, this is not that good. And Tim and I will tell you, it's funny we both said that we absolutely think Mick Garris is like elite. Yes. He's great. He was one of the nicest people we've met. He's extremely talented. Nothing against him. I think you're right. I think it's the cast, and it's not like the cast is like bad acting.
No, it wasn't bad. I think
it just didn't fit this for some reason, and I don't know why. And I think, and it's hard when you remake an iconic film like The Shining and with such like legendary actors, but not only that, but legendary performances. And then try and redo it. And like I said, I respect Stephen King's choice because I know it's well known he did not like Stanley Kubrick's version, and he wanted his own out there. So I'm not going to criticize the fact that they did make it, but it kind of takes some balls to kind of remake that, at that point, like I think maybe if they did it like, I don't know. I'm like trying to think because the original Stanley Kubrick Shiny is just too much in popular culture.
Well, I thought I thought the coolest thing about Doctor Sleep was when they basically used Kubrick's version as the template. Like for Stephen King to give his blessing to that was pretty cool. Like when they showed the like Shining flashbacks and stuff, like it was that version.
Yeah, and Doctor Sleep was like, I didn't read the book of Doctor Sleep, so I don't know, but like I know, but we were supposed to have that discussion, I think, at one point. We never did, but and I absolutely love Doctor Sleep because I think for a lot of those reasons, because they continued it, from The Shining that I know.
Yeah.
And most people know, like, I think there's a lot of people, like, I know that's like a hit and miss. I think there's like people in the camp that actually love this version of The Shining. But I remember seeing the Stanley Kubrick one and it like, kind of scaring me as a kid. And it was very like memorable as a kid. So it's like, that's like, I grew up on that one and I had watched it so many times. It's really hard to like, to take something like, I'd love to see someone at some point down the road take another crack at it. But I think it would be. I still think it's just because too many of the things are so like became household like phrases and like the here's Johnny and the it's just the all day all work no play makes Jack, like so many like sequences and so many things. I mean, look at that. Like, what was that? Ready Player One used a reference from that Stanley Kubrick version.
Yeah,
I mean, it just appears everywhere. So it's really hard to make people forget that and like not compare it. So it's just one of those that's gonna be really hard to ever like I think improve on in a lot of people's minds. And I feel bad because it's like it's one of those things where like poor Stephen King, he's like sitting there like. We're like basically criticizing his own version of his own book, but
which I've never understood because I think it's because The Shining is so personal to him, and that's why he didn't like the changes. But he obviously doesn't give a crap about how faithful the adaptations are of most of his stuff because there's some god awful Stephen King movies out there that he doesn't give a shit about. So I've never really understood why his obsession over hating the Kubrick version so much when he puts out all this complete schlock based on his work that was terrible, like was legitimately objectively worse movies. But I don't know. Who am I to criticize the grandmaster and my favorite author of all time? So I will not.
I mean basically I will never question his decision. I just don't have to. I may not like what the result is.
Yeah. We could,
but I'm not going to question it.
Maybe it's just not for me, but yeah. Next up, I'm going to do the extras for this one. You got the next one. New 2K restoration from the Inner Positive, an audio commentary by author Stephen King, director Mick Garris, cast members Stephen Weber and Cynthia Garris, and select crew. I would love to hear that commentary. I bet that's really illuminating.
Yeah, it would be. Actually, yeah. I mean, it kind of like the disc itself. I mean, I could see myself actually getting this at some point, even though all I said about it, but just, strictly for those kind of commentary things.
And then 11 additional scenes. That's pretty cool.
Next one is from VCI, and it's The Bat Whispers from 1930. I know we've said this a million times, but I don't care. I love when they release something on like current media from something so long ago.
Yes.
Because so many people probably have never gotten the chance to see it. And this is a master criminal terrorizes the occupants of an isolated country mansion. Tim's comment is good. I'm going to let him read it.
Oh, yeah. So this looked like if Christopher Nolan was born back in this time period and made a Batman movie in 1930. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
For 1930, it looks really good. It's like it's crazy how they captured like a look of that you would think of like more you associate with like more now.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool. You had to have a modern soundtrack on top of the trailer, but it still looked really cool.
That may have like helped push it, but still, it still looks really cool.
Yeah. All right, Brian. So,
you ended up getting it.
I ended up getting So, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not reading every extra on here. I had to shorten it. This was probably the longest series of extras I've seen for any single disc release in Discmemberment history. We've had box sets that approach that length, but man.
But that had like 10 movies in it.
Yeah, this is like one movie, and I swear there was probably 100 extras on here.
Yeah.
This is Disney's release of Aliens 4K from 1986. If you don't know the story, Ellen Ripley, the sole survivor from the original Alien, is awakened after 57 years of drifting through space. Her experiences with the deadly creatures are disbelieved by company executives who inform her that the aliens' planet is now inhabited and colonized by humans. But contact has been lost with the colonists, and Ripley is convinced to return to the planet with a squad of Marines, an android, and a company executive with a mission of his own. Once there, no survivors can be found except for Newt, a little girl who awakens motherly instincts in Ripley just in time for the acid-blooded aliens to attack in what quickly becomes a one-sided battle for sheer survival. So if you haven't guessed already, even the summary was wordy. But this one had... I'm going to read the primary extras here. We had a James Cameron introduction, a message from writer-director James Cameron introducing the special edition version of the film, 2003 audio commentary by James Cameron and the cast and crew special edition, 1990 special edition commentary by James Cameron and the cast and crew, so you get both of those commentaries. The inspiration and design of Aliens. For the 30th anniversary, writer-director James Cameron reveals new insight into his own inspiration and design elements for Aliens. As you can tell, a lot of these extras are from previous releases.
Yeah, which I expect. It had to have been.
Yeah.
Like, so many loaded versions of this movie out there in terms of extras.
2003 audio commentary by James Cameron and the cast and crew. 1986 theatrical version commentary by James Cameron and the cast and crew. Isolated scores. Final theatrical isolated score. This isolated track presents as accurately as possible James Horner's music score in its final form following extensive reworking during the post-production process. Composers
It's like even the freaking
the score
extras are wordy. What's going on?
Composer's original isolated score, although there are a few instances where the length of individual sequences was changed slightly after the music was recorded, this isolated score track presents as accurately as possible James Horner's original intentions. Superior firepower, making Aliens. Immerse yourself in the world of Aliens with 11 fully loaded featurettes that deconstruct all that went into making the sci-fi thriller, from casting to creature design to post-production and everything in between. Audio commentary by miniature effects supervisor Pat McClung. Direct access to new additional scenes from special editions. Still galleries and more. Original treatment by James Cameron. I counted nearly 40 separate featurettes when I looked through the list, and I just consolidated it down to that one line. So almost 40 separate extras. Multiple deleted scenes and shots. There probably were 10 or 11 of those. Laserdisc archives and trailers. And when I say trailers, I mean the TV trailer, the theatrical trailer, the foreign trailer, the blah, blah, blah trailer, every trailer you could think of. So this is, I believe this disc probably has every extra that's ever been released previously for this movie.
I literally think the only thing it's missing is the recipes that the craft service team used on the set.
Oh my gosh, yes.
For lunch. That's literally all it's missing.
Yeah. So that was our pick of the week. If you don't have Aliens, that's definitely the definitive version out right now. So we had Double Blind from 2023, Amy from 2023, Full Moon, Impulse from 1974 with Shatner, Postal from 2007, Snuff 102 from 2007, In Hell Productions, the films of Vince Roth and Mick Nard's set, Stephen King's The Shining miniseries, 1997 from Shout Factory, and The Bat Whispers from 1930, our pick of the week, Disney's Aliens 4K Super Packed Extras release, 1986. That brings
so weird to see it's a Disney.
I know, it's so cool. Because I think of the alien eating Disney princesses and the mashup possibilities there are fantastic. So March 19th is our final week we're going to cover in this episode. We will be back the last week of March to cover the final week, which is slam packed. This is a pretty good week though. This one had 6 releases. First one up was from Arrow, which is Dark Water. This is the original Dark Water, not the Jennifer Connelly remake.
Yeah, which I didn't like that Jennifer Connelly one. I don't know. I was disappointed.
I've never seen the original version. Yeah. This was from 2002. No one loses their mind instantly. Sanity seeps away one drop at a time. Yoshimi simply wanted a better life for both herself and her daughter Ikuko. Unfortunately, such wishes may sometimes be hard to come by. The custody battle has grown embittered and hurtful. Her new job is less than desirable. And Ikuko's schoolwork has taken a turn for the worse. But Yoshimi has something bigger to worry about. Something upstairs. Something cold and dark. Oh, dank. Sorry. Something that should have never been.
It could be dark, too.
Dark and dank, yeah.
It's dark water. I mean...
So this has Ghost Rings and Water interview with director Hideo Nakata. Family Terrors interview with author Koji Suzuki. Visualizing Horror interview with cinematographer Junichiro Hayashi. Archive interviews with actors Satomi Kuroki and Asami Mizukawa, and theme song artist Shikao Suga. Original making of documentaries, trailers, and TV spots. Reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Peter Strain. illustrated collector's booklet featuring writing on the film by David Klott and Michael Gingold.
Ah, he's there in non-film historian form. Then we got a couple. The next batch this week had a lot of like re-releases into 4K, but and that's this one, the Shout Factory Carrie 4K. But this is the Carrie, the 2013 Chloe Grace Moretz one. It says a sheltered high school girl unleashes her newly developed telekinetic powers after she's pushed too far by her peers. And this was okay, of course. Not even close to the original.
Very unnecessary.
Which also, by the way, I heard a podcast did a great sketch on the original Carrie.
They did. That one that was so funny that the host couldn't barely finish recording.
Yeah, because they kept laughing and still laugh to this day.
Even that one was us doing an impression of Adam Sandler doing an imprestion of Piper Laurie. That's what was funny.
Like not even like it was so bizarre. Like it was so many levels of copies on that one.
Okay,
I'm doing a podcast right now, Mama. We almost need to just re-air that.
I'm just going to have to go back and listen to that one. Release number 4 here. Shout Factory's Child's Play 4K from 2019. This is that god-awful remake. A remake of the classic 1988 flick. A mother gives her son a toy doll for his birthday, unaware of its more sinister nature. I know... I
didn't realize it was the original when I first did. I wasn't the original. I put nice 4K upgrade. It's not. This does not deserve a 4K.
I did not like this movie. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mark Hamill.
I'm sorry, Mark Hamill. He was the best part of this whole movie, and you didn't even see him. It was unnecessary for one. They should not. I know they had to change probably the look of Chucky for licensing purposes, but the Chucky looked dumb. I didn't like the only thing, if there's anything I could say positive about this movie, is I did like the updated technology aspect of Chucky, like where they made him kind of a little bit more like technologically advanced up to modern times. But then you have a movie like Megan that comes along and does it 1,000 times better. So I didn't care for this one. Disc 1 has a 4K Blu-ray, which is a new 4K restoration from the original master with audio commentary with director Lars Klevberg. Disc 2 is the regular Blu-ray with new Beautiful Darkness production designer Dan Hermanson on Child's Play. A New Start, actor Gabriel Bateman on Child's Play. New Head of the Patch, actor David James Lewis on Child's Play. Audio commentary with director Lars Klevberg. The Making of Child's Play, Bringing Child's Play's Chucky to Life. Soundtrack trailer, Lee Hardcastle Claymations, gallery, and theatrical trailer. But such an unnecessary movie. Like, this one's never going to spawn sequels.
No.
What came out of this? The freaking the original Chucky comes back and does a freaking awesome television series. This was
that's what my biggest gripe was, is that the original, it wasn't like the franchise was not being spoken of still,
right?
And we already knew there were plans to do more of the original, so it's not like that franchise was dead. So why spawn off something else while it's still alive? Maybe 10 years down the road when and like there's nothing coming out anymore from this series of Chucky and all this stuff, and and the original like models are they're just not making it anymore. That's fine, but like don't come on, don't sit there and like try and just seriously like grab money is basically what this became.
Yeah, it was so irritating on a number of levels.
I mean it's just it's just so frustrating because of the whole, like, and I think we've discussed this when we had it, but like, I mean, like Don Mancini still was saying how he's making something new. So don't take that away from him during it. Anyway, I don't know. That's a, we'll go forever on that one. Let's move away. Next one is, this is a fun one. Is this VHS Hit Fest or VH Shit Fest?
I think they wanted you to say it both ways. That was a very clever name,
right? They wanted to play around. And this one is Blind Faith for 1988. Ted Partridge is a mass murdering serial killer going around killing unsuspected women, brutally torturing them beyond imagination. Is it because they kicked him out of the band?
That's what it was. Bus? Yeah, that's what it was.
Right? Yeah. It is up to Detective William Lindsay and psychologist Richard Stroud to stop this killer before more innocent people meet their maker. Tim puts the no budget and low budget. That's funny. I saw boobs and angry people. That's what I got out of this trailer. It's audio commentary with director Dean Wilson, interview with Dean Wilson, interview with actor David Winnick, interview with Michael Heinz, trailer, Or is it Heinz? I don't know.
Heinz. He's a
I don't know.
ketchup guy.
Maybe we'll. I was gonna say I'll have to catch up on this one and let you know. Trailer, photo gallery, bonus movies. Oh, look at this! It's got 38 bonus movies on it. My father. That's why they're like, well, we feel bad. We made you watch this. We're gonna give you a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
My Father's Gun coming soon. A Bullet for My Father. Clayton. He's got.
That's got to be the sequel, right?
Yeah, coming soon. A Bullet. Clayton County Line. Boots McAllister. Oh my God, that name right there. That just sounds like I don't. That sounds like the guy you'd kind of like. That'd be like something in a Kenny Rogers song.
Yeah.
Again with Kenny Rogers. Why is he appearing twice in art?
I don't know. Kenny Rogers is awesome though, so
he is. I love Kenny.
Yeah.
I love Kenny Rogers. Yeah, he's Free America Broadcasting Director's Cut. The Making of Free America Broadcasting and North County War.
Do you remember when what's his name on Mad TV used to do the Kenny Rogers impression? And he was always like this raving, crazy lunatic drunk.
Yeah. Meanwhile, that's not what he's like at all.
No, but it was funny.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
I know. Well, it's kind of like they do that. Like it's like kind of like the Jimmy Fallon, like Barry Gibb. You know.
Yeah, when Will Ferrell would do Neil Diamond.
Yeah, or Harry Carey.
Yeah,
It's like those people. Yeah, it's like I love when they take like one little like potential way to go. And they just go crazy. But that's another, that's actually a form of impression that people like that. It like literally is a signature type of impression when you take like, it's like anything. You just take, you embellish one characteristic and go like so over the top.
Oh, my brother is a master at that. He can, he can take one flaw or one manner of speech and just blow it so out of proportion. It's like one of those caricatures they draw of you at the fair where they take one feature and just like exaggerate it 10 times. That's how he can do with like impersonations. And it's like so, it can be so mean-spirited, but so hilariously funny at the same time. Like he's a master of it.
You know what? We need to get Kevin back on.
Yes, we do.
Again. We haven't had him. I haven't talked to that guy in way too long. And like, it's like, and it's funny because I met you two at the exact same time and we both hit it off with you guys like instantly. But I feel like I haven't talked to Kevin in like a year. I need to like,
and he's like a professional podcaster now too. Cause he's been doing his Fox and the Foxhound podcast forever. So he's definitely an old pro.
You know what? We got to do some kind of movie that like would be perfect for his like his shtick because he's so good. He's like that day. I remember like 10 minutes after meeting you both, we're all hysterical laughing and had like 32 like in jokes already. It's
I know
crazy.
we had talked about one time maybe doing like The Woman in Black because Daniel Radcliffe's in that and kind of tied in with Harry Potter. Yeah,
that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one we're doing. Okay, great.
Next up from Warner Brothers, Dracula has risen from the grave, 1968. Classic Christopher Lee. When his castle is exorcised, Dracula plots his revenge against the Monsignor, who performed the rites by attempting to make the holy man's young niece his bride. This is the one that has the great close-up of his eyes, all bloodshot red. Yeah, I love this one.
And Hammer is back,
Hammer is back.
Remember, I just watched it. I don't want to talk about it too much because I want to make it. I think we might do an episode on it coming up at that Dr. Jekyll. They came back with the Eddie Izzard Dr. Jekyll movie that I watched. That is like Hammer back. And if you look, there's literally you link to the page. There's a whole like history of Hammer and how it's back now again, like in a whole new like form and like with the launch of this Dr. Jekyll. So I like Hammer coming back and now.
And
like
EC horror comic coming back is so great.
I know. This is like we almost should start a horror podcast.
We should cover all this. Horror's hot right now. We need to jump on that bandwagon.
Finally is our pick of the week here, and we both agreed once again. And this is just because, I mean, with the way, this week was a weird week in terms of a lot of redos and stuff, but this one is, and this is a Shout Factory collection. Those are always have an advantage, and that's the Ring collection in 4K. And this is the modern Ring ones, the US versions, of course. And it's got nice little upgrade for a nice set there. It's got for the first movie, The Ring. It's got a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative, supervised and approved by Gore Verbinski. New Ghost Girl Gone Global. Don't watch this collection of deleted footage. Rings, a short film that uncovers a terrifying and secret connection between The Ring and its sequel, The Origin of Terror. Cast and crew interviews and theatrical trailer. Then for The Ring 2, we have a new 4K restoration of the theatrical version from the original camera negative, new commentary with film critics Emily Higgins and Billy Dunham. Film critics, they're on their way. they'll get up there. Unrated version of the film, Rings, a short film that uncovers a terrifying secret connection between The Ring and its sequel. And it's so funny because the third one was named Rings.
Yeah.
Deleted scenes, fear of film, special effects, faces of fear, the phenomenon, Samara. Samara. I know. I don't know why I was going to say Samira because I know someone named Samira, so I must have said that wrong. Samara from the Eye of Icon, The Power of Symbols, The Making of The Ring 2 and theatrical trailer, and finally the third, which was Rings, new 4K master of the film, deleted and extended scenes, terror comes full circle, resurrecting the dead, bringing Samara back, and scary scenes. And that could have been like a summer's vacation, but we kind of did that early on.
Yeah,
we
did.
did like all three of them.
We did all three of them, yeah.
We kind of did like, that was like technically, that could be a good trivia down the road. I think that might have come before our first summer's vacation. That could be like what was technically our first film series we did, and that's that.
That's right, yeah. There you go.
And I will say, The Ring was actually, if you think of like modern horror, the first The Ring was actually really good at like bringing like the mainstream audience back to horror at that point.
It was good.
There were other ones, but that one was like became like a big thing where a lot of people that weren't even into horror went and saw it.
Yeah, and I will still defend that movie. That was one of the few good American remakes, I thought. And
especially from J-horror for them to make a good American remake. Yeah,
and The Ring 2 was pretty good too. I thought. I mean, I liked The Ring 2 as well. But Rings, I didn't care for as much. I thought.
You know what? It was kind of like a forced.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It could have been good, but it just, I don't know. I think by that, The Ring 1 and 2, that I will stand by for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So
I have a ghost in the room here. The laundry just fell down unattended. That's good. Okay.
Well, Brian's being haunted.
We mentioned The Ring, and look, the ghost fell.
So we will see you back here the last week of March to cover our last week of releases. Those are another 17 titles that are coming out for the end of the month. So
and that one's got film historians galore. This might be our first film historian free.
Yeah, only because it was split.
Episode.
Yeah, the last week is packed with film historians. And even some new ones, I think. So
yeah, there's some new ones. Some old favorites, but some new ones. So, Cody, get at that tome.
Yes. All right, guys. So we will see you back here the last week of March. Around March 26th, you should look out for that episode. Yes. All right. Take care.
See ya.